And then what year was that on? 96?
90, 95, 96.
I love that they left the penny up there. Yeah. Wow. What goes through your head when you see that thing still there, like a little tribute to you still there?
I made my mark and it remained. 25 years later, undisturbed.
Hilarious.
And here we go. Today on the Tom Kelly Show, our old friend Jack Squicciarini, who you've heard about and seen on the podcast once before, and I are at our old university, Quinnipiac University. And let's start the show.
The Tom Kelly Show. Everybody, I want you to go to the Tom Kelly Show. I want you all to know about the Tom Kelly Show.
And here we go. Content warning, spoiler alert. God, I haven't done a cold open like this in a while. You are experiencing a last-minute conversational version of the Tom Kelly Show. Jack, you agree my schedule's been a little messed up lately? You listen in the car, right?
I do.
Okay. And what do you think? Let's go blunt. I've been trying to screw around by making the show more visual lately, but you listen to it. Has it been painful on the ears?
No, it flows nicely because you often will highlight the stuff that's visually important that the listener is not seeing. Like you identify that when you're doing it. So it actually, it's like reading a book. You paint the picture with your mind. It probably makes a better picture than what you're showing on video, to be honest with you.
Because it's weird, because half of our consumers are on YouTube. The other half are on, and then a third are on Apple, a third are on Spotify, and then the rest are on like stray apps is really what I'm getting. But the numbers on YouTube can shoot up when I show sexy pictures and stuff. But anyway, we came, this is another last minute Tom Kelly trip. How did we get here, my friend? How does it feel to be back in the place where we didn't really meet but kind of met?
Well, we met before Quinnipiac.
But only for a day. I very clearly remember the moment I met you. Do you remember the moment you met me?
I think it was in Staples, wasn't it?
For me, it was a 7-Eleven parking lot. I was driving my brother Sal's Volvo, which was the same as my Volvo.
The blue one with the tinted windows.
Tinted windows and rims worth more than the car.
And a sound system.
A sound system, and it had power windows.
Yes.
But the fuse blew out on the power windows, and it was summer. And it was the summer before you were going to come here. And I just remember seeing you in a 7-Eleven parking lot and meeting you while we were all choking inside the Volvo. Is pretty much the moment I met you. And then we would bump into, and then honestly, my brother would start visiting here because Danny Murdoch and my brother knew you.
Right.
And my brother never actually really came to see me. He came to see you, which is fun.
I was fun back then.
We were younger. You were fun back then. So, stupid question. Let's start with this. How does it feel to be back in a place where you were younger? Like me, I would not have been here had you not invited me. And I'm not even sure if I'm regretting coming or not yet. Not regretting. Regretting is a strong word. But I can't decide if I'm wallowing in the past or should I be doing something else and leaping to the future? I'll tell you what my alternative plan was. I had bought tickets to play a play at the Bell House Theater in Brooklyn of a TikToker I find attractive who's also a stand-up comic, but she doesn't know me. I asked her to be on the podcast. Katie Ventrinos, I think is her name. She did not reply. Her play producers did not reply. It would have been a total creeper thing to go. But it would have been something new at a new theater, and it would have been a new comedy experience.
And something you could probably still do in the future.
No, because she's an LA comic out for just a week. So it couldn't have been. So it's not like I was going to really marry her or anything like that. It was just, oh, she's funny. Like, she's really good at telling stories straight to camera. In some ways, she has inspired some of what I've done with the Instagram. Sure. In that instead of, whereas this is a podcast, this is, ASMR. You're on the left channel, I'm on the right channel. If this isn't arousing somebody in our audience, nothing will. Nothing will. What she does is kind of like, just quick, I'm sitting in a car, let me tell you a story, and it usually involves back when she was crazy and had a lot more sex, and now she's sober. Whereas me, I never had the sex, nor am I sober. So like I'm the average of her two sides.
You need to unpack that. At the end of the day, coming back to your alma mater, like Quinnipiac, though it has grown exponentially, is still at its root the same place we went to school at. The bones are still here, right? So
the bones are still here, and very much from this angle. This angle is this angle I had.
Right. Like, so it feels like you could snap your fingers and you'd be back to where you were.
See, and I find that lonely. You don't find this lonely?
No, it's reminiscent. It's beautiful. The memories are beautiful. Like, it brings me back to a time and place when, you know, the bills were my parents and not mine. My biggest concern was, hey, what are we going to do tonight or this weekend after we're done with our classes and our schoolwork?
Yeah.
It was, you know, hey, I wonder if that pretty girl is going to say yes when I ask her out on a date. You know, whatever it was, but it was just pure, innocent, and it was just free. It was just like the most beautiful place you could spend 4 years of your life. And to be back here today and kind of revisiting that nostalgia, like, we've run into people that, you know a lot of people, obviously, because it was a small school at the time. Everybody kind of knew everybody. So there's that great sense of, like, it's like family you don't see.
Yeah.
And when you do see them, hey, great to see you, but you don't really have anything of substance to talk about, so you don't want to waste their time. But you just enjoy the memories it evokes. Like, one of my friends came up and she had a photo album from back in the day, and it was pictures of us, everybody.
Okay, so you saw that last night at the bar?
Today. No, that was today.
Oh, today she brought it.
When we were sitting up by Eklund.
So we're crashing also. Jack is a year younger than me, and I'm crashing his reunion year.
I graduated a year after.
Oh, that's right. You're a year behind. Okay, gotcha. Way to ruin a great moment with fact. Whatever it is. And technically, I didn't get my degree conferred until almost 1999. So I'm almost a class of 1999, depending on when you look. Are you worried? So I'll tell you this. What's fun is where I have trouble going to, or how do I say this the right way? I, especially when I was younger, used to like to tell people what I thought of them. Okay?
With age and wisdom, you learn discretion.
We should learn, and I haven't. But I'm starting to understand why I should. Because now I'm realizing I just saw a group of 5 people I know. One of whom is married to Chris Delenick, who I've talked about on the podcast a lot.
Sure.
He's the one who got me up to Higgins Beach for the podcast listeners. But the fun is one of her suite mates, who I have not seen in 25, 26 years, I once told to go fuck herself because I waited online overnight to get tickets to a dance. And then once her friends didn't get tickets to the dance, she didn't want to be my date. I'm like, you're like the first girl I ever asked out on a date ahead of time. And
so you hold grudges.
Oh, yeah. But also, too, I then enjoyed, she was the first person I think I ever said you can go fuck yourself to. And then I just enjoyed yelling, go fuck yourself, every time I passed her on the, and I was told to eventually pull back on that. And
was that by a restraining order, or was that something else?
You know what? That was by classy friends like you who have failed to class me up, my friend.
Yeah. Well.
Let's just agree to.
You can lead a horse to water. You can't make him drink.
Jack is one of the many people who have taken me on as a charity case. He's become my handler for this week.
Ooh.
See, you haven't even invited me to sleep over yet tonight, too, which is another sign where I may have to go to this play. Jack is what? Actually, tell them that part. It's the first time Jack has not been without his wife or kids in what, 5 years?
9, since my kids were born. I only was away from them one time, for one weekend, for my college roommate's wedding in Arizona in 2018. Bijou.
Are you lonely without him? Because when I was here last year, Chris Delenick got very lonely for his kids. I could see it.
Yeah, the first time I left them, so this is only the second time I've ever been away from them their whole lives.
Yeah.
My kids.
And now you got me.
So, but you know what makes it helpful? Like, you can FaceTime with them now. You can talk to them. When they were, the first time, they were too young to really engage in that. So yeah, I wish they were here with me to enjoy this part of the day. But I knew they wouldn't have been happy in the hotel in New Haven, which last night there was nothing but cars racing up and down the road, chaos on the street.
Do you want your kids to be like you in another 10 years? Do you want them to come here?
Well, my daughter is really into swimming, and the programs that are really competitive that would be recruiting her would not be Quinnipiac. So I don't anticipate if she stays on that course that would be the case. But if my son wanted to come here, it would make me ecstatic.
If my son wanted to screw around and join a frat, yeah.
Well, yeah, I know you and the fraternity were not fast friends.
Okay, you know what? Let's tell them that story. I became unfriendly with them the last month. I loved your frat. Is it even still around? It got kicked off campus eventually, right?
Yeah, they're no longer around.
What was it called? Phi Sigma Sigma? No, that was a girl. That was a sorority.
Delta Sigma Phi.
Delta Sigma Phi. I knew there was a Sigma in there somewhere. Yeah. So this is a great story. It's actually the reason why I don't drink before going. It's the reason why I don't drink before performing anymore.
Lesson learned finally for you?
Well, no, that was an early lesson learned before I became a comedian. I was in a male beauty contest called Mr. QC. I was asked to be in it because I was a celebrity at that point. We agree.
You were well known on the campus.
People liked me. I was actually much like with my Instagram
liked
fame
you
and
is a
Mass
little far.
Liked might be a strong word, but I had a cable access TV
People
show.
knew you from QCTV.
People knew me from QCTV, which was basically all it could reach was this campus. When you talk about how I've had videos go viral and whatnot, and this podcast reaches people around the world, to be on QCTV, we had you would record in a high-end TV studio on a VHS tape or a beta tape, and you would play it, and the maximum audience was 5,000 people. The maximum.
I appeared on a show for Stacey Ann Thompson, which
oh my God! Wait, that dating game.
Yeah, she threatened that she may have that tape somewhere. I'd be curious to see it.
Oh, that'd be funny.
If I ever run for higher office, I'm sure that thing will manifest.
Oh, a lot of things are going to manifest if you run for higher office.
That's never going to happen.
And including, I've been told there's a tape of this Mr. QC competition where I go out and then everybody in Jack's fraternity. Remember, I was friends with Jack. I was friends with the guy named Judd. I was friends with a guy, Mike Pappas. And suddenly, all the pledges or younger kids start heckling everybody but this guy named Vic. What do you... Actually, let's go crazy. I know what I remember.
Vic is here this weekend. I saw him last night.
Why? Tell them what I... So they started booing everyone who wasn't Vic. What chant did I start?
So let's back it up a little bit.
Yeah, let me hear your recollections of this one.
So Mr. QC is where, you know, the young guys would get up there and make the crowd cheer for them. Obviously, when you're in a fraternity with 60 guys, we were the biggest group on campus. We were all there. We were cheering for our fraternity brother. And obviously, Tom gets up, used to having the spotlight, didn't like that somebody else was getting the attention. Gets up there, rips his shirt off. You were shirtless.
I might have been shirtless.
You were shirtless. Hairy chest and all.
But I did it for comedic reasons.
Yes, you did. No question you were up there. You were poking fun at the...
It was ironic I was in it.
It was. The whole point was you were there, you were essentially making fun of the whole thing.
I was a comic
relief.
relief.
It'd be like walking into, you know, Miss America pageant as pick your feet.
Yeah, I was the
Amy Schumer walking in and making fun of all the
I was the
girls.
fat man in the Miss America contest is probably the right way to put it.
Fair enough. So when you got up and after they were still booing you because obviously, you know,
I wasn't Vic.
You weren't Vic. And then you started trying being the operative word, get the crowd to chant Vic's a dick. Vic's a dick. And Vic, out of all the guys in fraternity, one of the nicest, friendliest, outgoing, wonderful people you'd ever want to meet. But he was playing the game too. I think behind stage.
He was him. Oh, backstage. So this is an important detail. I used to love Jack Daniels, and I was nervous for this performance. I was nervous, and I got one of those small bottles of Jack Daniels, and other people were taking swigs, but I may have drank that by myself. And it gets crazy. So I am very tipsy on stage. So like I love hearing people tell me this story.
You were genuinely intoxicated on that stage. There was no question about it.
Yeah.
I was dead sober, so I remember the whole thing.
Okay, good. Tell me more. I don't think we've ever had this conversation.
I'd love to find the archives and get that video.
Oh, God, no.
It's got to exist here somewhere.
I really hope not, because I don't remember.
And we know enough important people here at Quinnipiac. The chair of the Applied Sciences might be able to help us.
Allegedly, Evan Tabak has a VHS copy of it somewhere. Because he's a narcissist. Of course, he had a video camera taping himself in a beauty contest at that point in time. So, but I know it gets crazier. I know Mike Pappas is in it, and Mike Pappas is just a good-looking, nice guy. He won. He eventually won, and he sang some sort of Quinnipiac remake of The Piano Man.
Yeah.
But I remember two things happening. I remember having the crowd chanting, "Vic sucks dick," and I had my half of the crowd chanting, "Vic sucks dick."
No, it was just Vic's a dick. I don't think you had him say sucks dick. As I recall, it was just Vic's a dick.
Oh, good. That's better.
You didn't go so far as saying that, because I think that would have gotten you hurt.
Verbiage? Well, no, because then... Yeah, and so I guess
that would not have ended well for you.
So, and I know the moment where it almost didn't end well was after the show. I'm liquored up, and I remember seeing a Buckshot, nice guy. I know him from church.
Yeah.
I'm like, Buckshot,
John Carringer,
nice guy, and I'm like,
he was my big brother in the fraternity.
You didn't want to stop these guys from heckling me, your church friend? And whatever it was
a runaway train. There's nothing he could have done.
No, well, the runaway train got a little bit crazier because then he got mad I insulted the integrity of the fraternity. And now I'm about to get into a fist fight with, and he would have kicked my ass, just to be very, very clear on this.
You were never going to get in a fist fight. They're not going to gang assault you.
No, well, you know what, though? I think he got pulled away because I insulted the integrity of the frat. And
You probably had a hard time getting into any parties for the rest of the year.
Oh, it was the end of the year, and so the night ends, and you could sort of see...
That's about the extent of our pettiness. No one's going to attack you for words.
Yeah, they were. It was tense for a minute, but anyway, and the night ended with me swimming in this lake over here.
Hepatitis.
That we called Hepatitis Creek.
And you're still alive.
Yeah. And I think that was probably one of the last times I saw my friend Mike Pizzullo too, where I just remember, Pizzullo, I'm drunk enough. I want to swim in Hepatitis Creek. And I did it. It was around April or May of, the year 1998.
I'm racking my brain. We dared somebody to do it in the middle of winter, and they did. From Larson, I can't remember who did it.
I know people who did it for money. I think it's.
I'll say it was a kid named Owen, if I'm not mistaken.
I know my friend Mike Corona did it for money. Pappas did it for money, and I just did it because I wanted to be able to say I did it. Like you know what's funny?
Sure.
That would have been one of my few regrets. It would have been one of my few.
You could correct it right now if you really wanted
No,
to.
I mean, I've done it now. Now I've done it. I don't need to do it again.
Well, have you done the triathlons in the East River?
The Hudson
That's
River, yeah.
far worse than this.
I think this was worse than the Hudson River.
Really?
They test, well, you know what? Say what you want. They test the Hudson River. There's someone to sue if I get something
Look
from the
at the
Hudson
beautiful scenery around this thing. The worst you're going to get is pesticides from the landscaping.
River. I don't know. We don't know what's on the
The
bottom
Hudson
of that.
River has bodies, needles,
And you're right. Maybe.
effluent.
Maybe. I don't know. I think we're about 20 minutes. Jack, thank you for doing this to me. And then you're going to decide what's better. And actually, listeners, you can chime in on this. Do you like the Tom Kelly just long conversation ASMR between friends? I know this won't rate on YouTube because there's nothing happening unless I say something. Well, you see, that's the one thing missing. See, I'm realizing I learned this from helping my friend Tom Sullivan run for office. I came up with 5 things I've learned from doing his Instagram. One, I feel like to get the numbers up, you have to make it important. And this was not an important show at all. A great show. 2 friends together, not important. Then the other thing I learned was you could talk about something topical, where we'll rope people in if I say, this one should be president, this one shouldn't, blah, blah, blah. Or screw you, Dancing with the Stars. Actually, there's a Quinnipiac grad on Dancing with the Stars right now.
It's a female, right?
Alona Mar, I think her name is.
Okay.
And she played rugby here, and then she got a gold medal or a silver medal in the Olympics, and now she's on Dancing with the Stars, and she's my type. She's beautiful. She's built. She's a sturdy woman. She's my type, and she has a lot of body positivity stuff.
Young enough to be your daughter as well,
dude.
But to drop Quinnipiac references that might improve your rating, you should talk a little bit about the Quinnipiac Division I champion hockey team that played last night. And they schooled New Hampshire like 8-2. It was like taking candy from a baby. They did a fantastic job. And the energy of the crowd, both the alumni and the people that were there, was fantastic. It kind of makes you, feel like we almost missed out a bit because we didn't have that kind of facility back when we were here. I mean, the extent of our sports.
You know what, though? But I don't know. But I don't know. I think it's different now. I never liked worshiping the athletes, especially here, because they weren't that great.
Well, it's not a matter of athlete worship. One of the things I always said I missed out, my sisters went to Holy Cross, and like you go to any school that has like a big football team, and the joke at Quinnipiac is what? Our team is undefeated since 1929.
For football, yeah.
Right, for football, because we don't have a football team. And, it's a different culture on a campus when you don't have that. For us, I think basketball was a big deal at the time when we were here, basketball players. But they didn't get the same celebrity status. Well, for Quinnipiac, yes. But I mean, big fish, little pond. But you go to like Alabama, Roll Tide.
Yeah.
Those guys, like really like celebrities. They're being, vetted by these interest groups that, like the boosters that probably take care of them, and they're living like true celebrities. Here it was, big fish, little pond. Like you're the most popular guy in this little environment. But I enjoyed, like I lived with a basketball player, Andrew McKenzie, awesome guy as well. We used to go and cheer for him for the basketball games. The intimate nature of that, though, was more like a high school level stadium or basketball.
Yeah, it was. It was a
high school level. Like the bleachers pulled out. There were wood bleachers.
About that, yeah.
But it was great because you were like it was more intimate because you were cheering for like your roommates, your friends, and you actually knew those guys, as opposed to a big school like UConn. You know who they are, but they don't know who you are.
They're borderline professional, yeah.
But they don't know who you are. Here at Quinnipiac, the guys that were playing and all the people in the stands knew each other.
Yeah.
On first name basis. I ran into Ryan Brown last night.
Yeah.
He was a fantastic basketball player, and
see you at the bar, Ryan. See you at Diglio's.
Couldn't have been nicer. Like he still remembers me from all these years later. Like, and I wasn't on a basketball team. I was, and I was a year younger. But he ended up marrying a girl from my class, Amy Brown. Fantastic.
Oh, that's why
family they have. Yeah, but what a fantastic couple with a beautiful family. They're great. So, but yeah, I guess Quinnipiac is different now. I wouldn't say it's better or worse. It's just grown. It's evolved.
Yeah, and all things do. And wouldn't it be sad if it didn't?
But it grew in a good way. It's become even more than what it was when we were here. It's more of the good stuff that we had, just bigger scale. I think I enjoyed the small scale that it was from a small town. I didn't leave town often, but coming here, it was like, I always said, it felt like home when first time I walked on campus. Before I knew if I could get in or anything else, I'd never heard of Quinnipiac. I walked on the campus and went, this feels like home.
It did for me too, in a weird way.
And it still does to this day. I walked on this campus today, and when I walked onto the quad, I said, I feel like it was, you know.
Well, how about this? Let's go enjoy home for a bit.
All right.
Folks, if you listen, you're not new to the show. You know what to do. Comment where you can comment.
Show love where it can be shown.
There you go. Good night, Hamden. God, it's fun actually in Hamden.